It's Denver, though, closing the first quarter on a 19-7 burst over about the final 5.5 minutes of that frame. They led it by 5 after one, 24-19, and that run continued into the second frame.
Rudy, perimeter right, hands it off to Andrew, attacks to the baseline, back to Rudy on the roll inside, took the bump, throws up a wild shot, not close, and the rebound comes down to Denver. On a 12-0 run, Jokic senses it. Left side, he'll kick it up top to Brown. Christian left alone at the free throw line. Out to MPJ. Step back, 19-footer's good. 14-0 run, timeout Minnesota. There's 9:40 left to go in the second quarter. 8-0.
Nothing, and I mean nothing, is going their way, Guardsy.
Yeah, very little. Good to be with you. It started out, I thought, fairly well. You know, McDaniel's hitting a couple of shots. That's good to see. You know, they were playing great defense at the rim. McDaniel's had a great block on Aaron Gordon. But I think we're seeing there's two guys that have played in 4 Game 7s before, in Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic, and they're the ones that are carrying everything right now. If you want to make it that simple, Max, they're 2 stars. I mean, what do we have here? 30-something points for them. I think 37. 31 maybe, and the Wolves 2 stars, after that flurry by Karl-Anthony Towns to start to kind of end the second quarter, they're sitting right around, I think, like 17 or 16 points, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So their big 2 are outplaying our big 2 right now, and they're getting contributions from their bench. We're really getting contributions from nobody. So it's kind of a miracle to be down 15 at this point.
It does feel like it could be a lot bigger lead. Karl-Anthony Towns, you mentioned it. He's pretty much the only one that has it going right now. He's 5 of 6 from the floor. That's kind of about it for the positives. Anthony Edwards has absolutely nothing going on right now. He is 1 for 7. They're doubling the hell out of him at the top of the key, and the Wolves have nowhere to go with the ball, Guardsy. I've never seen so many possessions go late into the shot clock for these Minnesota Timberwolves. Nobody can go anywhere on this Denver defense. All of a sudden turned into the Timberwolves defense in that first half.
Yeah, credit to them. They're playing great defense, and the Wolves aren't making them pay for doubling Anthony Edwards. The games where the Wolves have gone off in the postseason, it's because Naz Reid has gone off. It's because Nickeil Alexander-Walker has gone off. It's because Mike Conley has hit shots. Yeah. None of those guys have really hit, right? Naz hit a 3 early. Nickeil continues to struggle shooting the ball. And you know you're struggling shooting the ball. You have a couple that just go in and out where you're open. I mean, This thing looks a lot different if the Wolves knock down some of those shots. I tweeted about it earlier in the half. Anthony is getting them open, right? Because they're committing so many resources to Denver. And if these guys, if they don't make those shots in the second half, if they're open like that, Wolves aren't winning. It's that simple. If a couple of more of those go in this first half, you're looking at a much different game. But they have not been able to make Denver pay for basically trying to lock up Anthony Edwards. That's why they weren't really doubling on Towns. We saw what the Wolves did to them in Game 6 there. They're willing, I think, to let Towns kind of go to work in the post. They don't want to let Anthony get going at all. And so far it's working. The Wolves have to come up with the counter, really, other than just make the open shots that they are allowing you by what they're doing to Anthony.
They got to find something, Guardsy, and they went on a little run there in the second half, or in the second quarter, I should say. They got it down to 5 after. I mean, they went 4 or 5 minutes without scoring between the end of the first quarter and the beginning of the second. They got it down to 5. They started getting free throws, getting Rudy to the line, getting a couple little shots here and there, and then Denver goes on another 9-0 run. Jamal Murray is just out there cooking. This is the Jamal Murray we all know and that we have all feared here in the Twin Cities. He's 8 for 15, and you could just see it when he's dribbling the ball, Guardsy. He's feeling himself right now. He's got that hop in his step. He feels like he's gonna score 100 points. Like, he's absolutely feeling themselves, and the Wolves have done nothing to make his game uncomfortable whatsoever.
Yeah, I'll get to that little mini run in the second quarter in a minute here, Max, but I'm about to be Corey Cove agnostic or atheist when it comes to the basketball gods, because I can't believe the basketball gods are allowing a guy who threw a heating pack on the court and got no fine or got no suspension for it to go off in a game like this. I have very little faith in the basketball gods right now. I'm only hoping that this is a big setup for a big fall, because he's unbelievable. And they're losing him, and he's probably created 2 or 3 more baskets just because he's driven to the basket. Aaron Gordon got a dunk because he drove in, missed a shot, but Gordon was right there to hammer it. And those plays being in this arena, Max, those are the plays that get this place going. Aaron Gordon is kind of like the Naz Reid for the Nuggets. Like when he's doing something, when he does something crazy, the volume goes to a different level. And on that run that you talked about where they cut it to 5, that was with Anthony Edwards on the bench.
Yeah.
I thought they got a little cute leaving him on the bench for that extra minute or two. I think you got to kind of cut your losses with that lineup, with any lineup that involves Kyle Anderson at this point.
And
like,
Rudy Gobert at the same time. Like that
exactly
just felt a
right.
little unserious to me.
But to their credit, they chipped away at it.
True.
But I thought you take your chips and you go and you bring Anthony back in. By the time he got back in, I think they were down 10. That's just how quickly Denver can do this thing. So they've got some work to do. Obviously, they got to get more than just Karl Anthony Towns going. They've got to find an answer for Jamal Murray. I'd imagine Anthony's probably going to guard him for the entire second half. Jaden has 3 fouls, so you got to watch that as well. They just got to find a way here in the first couple of minutes to get back in this thing.
Yeah, and it's really unfortunate that Jaden has those 3 fouls because he's 4 for 7. He's got 10 points. He's the second leading scorer on the team, and I thought we're going to see a more aggressive Jaden, like kind of like how we saw in Game 6 when he had that offensive outburst. And we've seen this Timberwolves team, when Jaden McDaniels gets going, their ceiling just raises that much higher. They can play at that much better of an offensive level. But those 3 fouls kind of have them in a tough spot right now, and they got to find a way to get some offense. Mike Conley 1 for 7, Anthony Edwards 1 for 7, Rudy Gobert, pretty brutal game from Rudy outside of those points at the free throw line. He's 0 for 3. Nikhil is 0 for 5. I mean, we cannot hit anything. Mentioning the basketball gods, what do I got to do? You guys, the basketball gods, can have my afro, my big toe, whatever you guys want. Please, give us some salvation. It can't end like this. I don't mean to go Minnesota sports on it, but at least put up a fight. It can't end like this, Guardsy. What did you see anything in that first half, in either the first or the second quarter, that should give Wolves fans hope going into the second half? I mean, I know we all know the third quarter has been their quarter throughout this season. It hasn't really been that way throughout this series. It's kind of when one team gets the lead, they run off with it, and no team has really been able to make a significant comeback. But we know third quarters have been big. Did you see anything in that first or second quarter that should give Wolves fans hope?
That they're only down 15 and Anthony Edwards isn't here yet.
Right.
That's the only thing. And that's how I felt. I think at halftime of Game 1, I tweeted something similar. Now, they were only down 4, I think, at the half at that point. They weren't down 15, and that was a buzzkill to end the quarter that way after Cat had done a good job to get you down to 10. They just have to find a way to make Denver pay for what they're doing with Anthony. And the Rudy stuff you mentioned, Anthony had a couple of good looks, I thought, and passed it to Rudy late in the shot clock. That's not where he's going to do his work.
No.
I'm sorry. And honestly, credit to him for getting fouled and knocking down 3 of the 4 free throws that he had in that second quarter. I know he had, a couple of turnovers there, and Kyle Anderson missed a couple of bunnies there too. They're just not getting the ball to the right people in those late shot clock spots. And I don't know if it's just Ant's got to try to go hero ball on it at some point. He has not really been in it. Maybe putting him on Murray here, because I assume that's what they're going to do in the third quarter is going to get him going. But I thought a good microcosm of the whole half was Anthony Edwards getting a steal, Wolves having the fast break. They either missed a shot or turn it over, and it's a 3-on-1 the other way. That's actually defended pretty well by Karl, and Jamal Murray makes a tough shot.
Yeah.
That was kind of the first half to me in 12 seconds. And so, you mentioned Jaden. He was the one that knocked down the corner threes. Those are the shots he's going to get. Those are the shots that the role players have to knock down. I remember we tell this story all the time. Trent Tucker tells the story before Game 6 of 1993, Phil Jackson bringing him and John Paxson and all the bit players basically up to his office before they got on the plane and said, you each are going to get about 4 shots tomorrow night, and you have to make all of them. That's life as a role player.
Right.
You have to knock down the shots. That's why the Wolves blew out Phoenix. That's why the Wolves have blown out Denver a couple times. When those guys are hitting the shots that Anthony and Karl are creating for them, the Wolves are almost unstoppable. But tonight they have not hit. Anthony has not gone. And Jamal Murray's been incredible, and Jokic has been Jokic, and that's why they're down 15.
Yeah, Jokic damn near a triple-double already at the half. He's got 13 points, 15 rebounds, and 5 assists. He's cooking already. And Guardsy, it's a little frustrating because you kind of alluded to it. These are the same looks that the Wolves role players have been getting all series. It's not like Denver's doing anything that crazy defensively. They do seem like they're playing with a little bit more intensity than they have been over the last couple of games in general, but they're not doing anything that much differently. Guys just aren't hitting shots. That same shot, those same 0 for 5 shots that Nikhil hasn't hit in this game, he was hitting all day against Phoenix. It's incredibly frustrating to watch, but hopefully the third quarter can be big for them, Guardsy.
Yeah, I know they're about to start it here, and yeah, you got to find an answer for the two guys that have been in this spot. Experience is a big thing, right? Michael Malone talked about it a lot today. When you've been in this situation like the Nuggets have, they know how to kind of handle the emotions of it, and Jamal Murray has put this team on his back, and they got to find a way to slow him down and get back into this thing.
They got to find a way, Guardsy. They got to find a way to keep the dream alive, because right now it's not looking so good. It's not looking like there's going to be many hooty-hoos after the game. It is 53-38 at the half. But don't give up, people. Your Minnesota Timberwolves have been resilient all season. They've made more comebacks than Rocky Balboa himself. It could happen. It's just not going their way thus far, but we're lucky to be down 15. This has been the halftime show presented by ABC. Win or lose, we will howl at you after the game. Howling with the homies, me and Parker Fox, possibly Justin Guard joining us. Well, hopefully celebrating a big-time Wolves comeback win, a historic comeback win. But until then, all we got is hope. I'll see you after the game, y'all.
ABCwillhelp.com. ABC will help. ABC. American Building Contractors. ABCwillhelp.com. New roof, windows or gutters, siding or just a repair. ABC for new installation, insurance restoration. ABC is there.
Call today and get free gutters when you replace your roof with American Building Contractors. Restrictions may apply. Call for details.
ABC.
At RBC Wealth Management, we know you have ideas for your future. Ideas that can have you enjoying the moment or owning the moment. They can bring investment opportunities or opportunities to invest in yourself. Ideas that can have you doing good or feeling great. From following your passion to making your passion work for you. What ideas will you bring to life? Know more with RBC Wealth